Sun is going to be in the sign of Capricorn until 10th of Feb, and from 11th, 12th of February, it will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. It will be in conjunction with Mercury. You will be able to overcome your enemies, challenges at your workplace as well. Any kind of obstacles, problems that are anticipated in the month of February, you should be able to overcome them pretty comfortably. This is a time where you must cut some slack for yourself and give the liberty to buy, purchase any kind of thing that gives you personal gratification. Hi guys, welcome back to Devastrology. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the transitory movement of the planets, and we will understand that what does the month of February hold for us in terms of our relationships, finances, career, business prospects, your overall health and prosperity. So before we go to understand that what is going to be the impact of these planets, let's try and quickly look into the important dates which are going to define the movement of these planets into different signs and houses for you. Now, as you guys can see on the screen here, Sun is going to be in the sign of Capricorn until 10th of Feb, and from 11th, 12th of February, it will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. It will be in conjunction with Mercury, which is also sticking in this of Capricorn as of now and will be moving into Aquarius on Jan 11th. However, Mercury will be making additional movement and it will be getting conjunct with Rahu and Venus in the sign of Pisces from 27th of February. Important thing to note is that Venus is already in its sign of exaltation and it has been in the sign of Pisces since Jan 27th, and it is going to be there for a duration of 110 days in this conjunction. It have very key impacts for all of us. Important thing to understand also is that this Venus is actually forming a Parivartan Yoga, an exchange with itself with Jupiter, because Venus sits in Pisces whilst Jupiter is placed in the sign of Taurus. Yes, it has been in retrograde motion, but Jupiter is going to become direct from February 4th. And in this progressive movement, you are going to see some transformative impact coming into your life. Movements will start happening in multiple areas of your life as we discuss further. Now, Mars is also sitting in its retrograde motion and it has entered the sign of Gemini already, as I'd mentioned in my January readings. And you will find that Mars will also become direct or progressive from February 24th onwards. So both of your retrograde planets, which is Jupiter and Mars, they will become direct and progressive in the month of February itself. So it's an important event that's going to come into play. Saturn continues in the sign of Aquarius in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter itself. And you have Rahu, which is in the sign of Pisces at this point in time. It is in conjunction with Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, ruled by Saturn. And Ketu is in the sign of Virgo. It is in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, which is again ruled by Sun. So these are some of the important dates that are going to come into play for the month of February. Now, Aries, as you guys can see on your screen here, your Lagna Lord Mars, which has been debilitated and retrograde for a while, has already moved into the sign of Gemini, though in retrogression, but it will become direct and progressive later in the month. The good bit is Mars is coming into a position from where it can bring its strength, its aggression, its energy into play from the third house itself. You are going to see a regenerated energy in you where you are going to be addressing stuff that has been stalled for you for a while. Things that have not been finding any kind of motion, movement, improvement, so to speak, be it related to your career, your physical being itself, your health is going to see some sort of an improvement here. Mentally also, you are going to find yourself at much more peace now with this transit of Mars. The other good bit that is going to happen is that Mars standing in the third house itself is going to give you a lot more energy in your formal execution. through communication, through your presentation, through your address to the world in itself. Its fourth aspect is coming into your sixth house, means there will be a definite improvement in your daily schedule and regimen. You are going to be now able to follow a certain timetable, a certain schedule, address your goals and objectives effectively. You are also going to see a renewed impact at your workplace, relationships with your bosses, superiors, your fathers, so to speak. And I think this transit of Mars, at least for the next few months, where it is going to be, stationed in the sign of Gemini, is going to bring much more of a needed rigor that you have been anticipating for the last few weeks. As we look into your second house, Jupiter has been retrograde there, but it also becomes direct from 4th of Feb itself, as we discussed. And what it means is that definitively, though it is giving a debilitated aspect to your 10th house, there is going to be some movement from a karmic perspective. You are going to definitely see some action coming into play for you. And not only this action will be dependent on the amount of efforts you are going to be putting in, but also reaping the rewards, because the Lord of the 10th house is also in a good position in the 11th house for you. And this is a period before transiting into the sign of Pisces. You can expect your Saturn delivering certain outcomes. So, from a work perspective, professionalism perspective, there is a definitive improvement coming. Jupiter is also giving an aspect to your sixth house along with your eighth house. So, if you are employed somewhere or you are looking for new job opportunities, this is going to be the month which is going to provide you the right impetus in your job search in terms of the career switch that you're looking forward, because both Mars and Jupiter are aligning their energies positively from your sixth house perspective. Remember, Ketu is still stationed there in your sixth house. So your objective should be to focus towards your process, focus towards your regimen, and see what best you can put in and leave the result on whatsoever supreme power you believe in, because that is going to give you the right outcomes starting from the month of February. Now, Jupiter's aspect to the eighth definitely shows that there is going to be some level of research, some level of interest into the hidden aspects of life. And it is not a bad one, because you're getting that aspect into the sign of Scorpio. I would not be surprised if some of you want to pick up new courses, new areas of learning as well. Relationships with your in-laws should also iron out, smoothen a bit if you are a married person. There is definitely a possibility for some of you building in new relationships as well. Overall environment from a family perspective, your quality of food perspective will improve. Yes, though there is a risk that you will continue to put on some weight, enjoy the quality of food that you are getting at this point in time, and you should be careful in terms of how you take some health measures as well. Given the placement of these two planets itself, there will be some interest with many of you Aries where you would want to hit the gym, exercise, pick up new hobbies in itself, or engage yourself in some sort of physical extracurricular activities outside the core. Now, there is a crowded environment in your 10th, 11th, and 12th houses, so to speak. You have Sun and Mercury, which are forming Buddha Tritya Yoga in your 10th house itself. And as I was saying, the aspect of Jupiter as well as Mars into your 10th house, along with the presence of Sun and Mercury, have definitely given an indication that right from the last week of January all the way to the mid of Feb, you are going to see some hard pronged action. You will be bringing creative mindset, very kind of ideas in terms of how you can add value, be at your workplace, be any kind of initiatives that you are taking, even in your personal space and time. This is a positive movement. But this presence of Sun and Mercury also indicates that it is a time that you leave no stone unturned, my Aries friends, because this is going to be, an opportunity for you to gain on the efforts that you are putting in the month of February. Both of these planets will be getting conjunct with Saturn in your 11th house, in your house of gains and desires. So that is going to be especially benefit. Now, you have to understand that Mercury rules your sixth house as well as your third house and coming into the 10th, which indicates that communication, your overall mindset towards following certain discipline is going to be very, very important as to how you gauge that success at your workplace. You will be able to overcome your enemies, challengers at your workplace as well. Any kind of obstacles, problems that are anticipated in the month of February, you should be able to overcome them pretty comfortably. You will have to put in efforts towards your health affairs as well. Please follow certain schedule, be it in terms of exercising, good food quality, or maybe taking your medications on time to ensure that you are doing well in this month, and this month promises you recovery as well as wherever needed. Now, it is also important for you to note that both these planets will be giving an aspect to your fourth house as well. And that means that somewhere or the other, you will have interest towards your mental peace, your assets on top of your mind. You could have certain botheration with respect to your mental health occasionally, but those will be 1 or 2 days of troughs, as I call it, coming in with a game changing crest as well. So just don't worry about it. Keep focused towards the efforts you have to put. You have to take certain precautions with the healthcare of your mom, because that could bring some sort of sensitivity, some kind of challenges to your mind as well. Both these planets will be getting conjunct in the 11th house in your house of desires. February is going to be the month where you are going to reap the benefits of all the efforts that you've been putting in all this while. And thus, it is important that you are able to align with your peers, the people whom you collaborate, not just at your workplace, but outside as well, to make sure that you are able to get the benefits, monetary benefits, so to speak, through the course of this month. Now, the conjunction of Sun with Saturn in the 11th house can be a bit tricky as well, because can create certain argumentative situations, especially at workplace. You should also be cautious in terms of how you are dealing with your friend network. Avoid any kind of confrontations, avoid unnecessary arguments coming into play, because they could just be detrimental and you might create unknown, unexpected enemies, which is not your desire. Because of the kind of outcomes, because of the kind of achievements you will have in this month, there is a strong probability that you would want to reward yourself as well. Venus's exaltation into the 12th house in conjunction with Rahu is promising some sort of an expenditure coming your way. And I think it is something that you expect to treat yourself after all the hard work, Aries, you've been putting all this while. With Mars debilitation in the last few months, things haven't been easy for you. But I think this is a time where you must cut some slack for yourself and give the liberty to buy, purchase any kind of thing that gives you personal gratification. Yes, 12th house is also the house of expenses. You can see your donation, charitable expenses coming in your way. Some of you who have had any kind of health concerns, you can anticipate hospital related expenses as well. And that is why I say, if the expenses are bound to come and big expenses are bound to come, better you invest something in terms of your own pleasure, your own leisure during these months itself. Remember, it's not just the month of February, but March and April as well, where this conjunction will continue its full strength, and you will have more and more planetary conjunctions forming with the rest of the planets also aligning in the same house itself. May not be a bad idea for you to find some time for spirituality, some time in isolation for yourself. It is going to be an excellent remedy for the next 2 to 3 months for you, where you start your day by, talking to yourself, meditating, or just spending some time to retrospect how has been your previous day or your previous week, so that you can plan ahead better. Because the planets sitting here in the 12th house will also be giving an aspect to your sixth house, which means your planning on a daily basis is going to be extremely crucial. Now, Venus is the lord of your second house and your seventh house coming into 12th. So do not be surprised if some of you have to bring in expenses related to romance, to your beloved spouse or your partner. The expenses should ideally be in the direction of pleasure, in the direction of luxury, but Venus also denotes healing. So some of you could anticipate hospital related expenses also coming into play. And that is why I would want to warn you that if you are maintaining a certain schedule for yourself, a certain discipline to find time for yourself, you will be able to address this expense in the right fashion. Remember, your Rahu is also continuously inching towards 11th house. So much more prosperous time is about to come. Gains are about to come for you in 2025. So do not get too frugal when it comes to, or, worked up if expenses are piling up for you in the next few months. It's a time that you have to enjoy those expenses and see them in a positive light than fretting about all that aspect. The other bit that I would want to call out is that Mercury is also, promising some sort of communication related triggers coming at your workplace. It is the lord of your third house coming into 10th. So you have to use your communication wisely. You are smart with that. Mars is going to support you. but some level of aggression is also bound to come. So you may want to keep your aggression at check. You've been very, very patient of late. And if you continue to do that, it is going to be turning out a fabulous month of rewards for you. Your love life seems to be moving in a positive direction. Sun and Mercury's as along with Saturn into the fifth house is going to be a positive one. In fact, Sun is going to be aspecting its own sign. So you could blossom in terms of new relationships, new partnerships, educational degrees. If you are looking forward to embark on something new, is going to give you certain rewards in the month of February itself. All in all, I think now is the time when for Aries, gears are about to shift and you are going to see the first initial steps of positive 2025 outlook coming to your way. I hope you guys have enjoyed this reading, folks. If you have, then please smash on that like button and subscribe to the Astrology. Thank you.